Hello and welcome to this Bulldog football post-game report for Week 1. I'm Rob Bentley alongside Sandy Golston. Final score, Ferris State wins it 36-20 over the Central Washington Wildcats. Sandy, the Bulldogs get a win, nearly 500 yards. Total offense here in Game 1. Strong defensive performance and found a way, most importantly, to get the W.
Yeah, I think they got stronger as the game went on. They started to get better and started to tighten some things up a little bit as the game went on. And yet at the same time, as good as it is, and you win a game by 16 points and you feel really good, a good team coming in from the road, and yet you know that there's a lot of room for improvement. And so I think we heard that in the post-game press conference from the coaches, from Coach Anise, as well as from the players. And so they know they've got some work to do. So they're going to be up looking at some film. And we were talking about it on the air. Probably not going to be a lot of cumulative hours of sleep for the coaching staff. I'm sure they're going to be ready to get right back to work really quickly, looking ahead to Lenore-Ryan.
Obviously, the Bulldogs here tonight. A lot goes on in terms of a season opener, electric atmosphere, nearly 7,000 fans here tonight, and outstanding turnout here to support this Bulldog football team. Yeah,
it was great. I mean, these Thursday night games, there's a lot of work that goes into it behind the scenes that a lot of people don't necessarily see, but it's a great – this first Thursday of the school year is always a great time. It's Founders Day. There's a lot going on. We have a new president of the university, and the tailgate was on fire. It was tremendous. The students had the energy. The alumni came back, and so there was a great atmosphere outside the stadium before the game. They brought that energy into the stadium for the game, and tremendous crowd. You mentioned over 7,000 supporting the Bulldogs and leaving with a victory.
Ferris State gets the win. Some penalties on the Bulldogs side, a couple turnovers, but nonetheless, you find a way to get the W. A lot of things you can learn from here in a game like this with a lot of Bulldogs seeing their first action.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you like to see in this game is that even though it was probably closer than maybe what some people wanted, as Coach said and as we were saying, a win is a win and you'll take it. But there are things that we can clean up here. So there were some procedural penalties that really hurt us at times in the game. There were some other types of penalties that hurt us in the game. Those are things that you can clean up. Those are correctable errors. Those are things that you would expect will get better for this football team. And then you look at some other things that you start to look at, in terms of improvement that you can make in the weeks to come. Those are things that I know the coaches will start to address here and start to clean up some of those penalties, sharpen execution. And then, the sky's the limit for this team. This is a good team. There's a lot of talent and experience at some positions, and positions where we're not that experienced, we're talented, and we're going to get better.
Obviously, the Bulldogs here tonight dressed up a lot of guys, over 100 guys in uniform, and saw a lot of action from a lot of those guys here tonight. They went deep into the lineup.
Yeah, you were keeping track of the participation, and so you were pretty busy keeping track of participation through the game. And so there were a lot of guys that got in, a lot of guys that contributed. And, we started to stack up those freshman classes due to COVID, and so some of those guys getting a chance to get out there and play. And there's some talented guys that really didn't get an opportunity to see a lot of time on the field, but are going to be good players for us in the future.
Obviously, the Bulldogs, after facing one playoff opponent, turned their attention to Week 2, another playoff opponent in Lenore-Ryan. Long trip to Hickory, North Carolina next week.
Yeah, you get a tough opponent at home in your opener, and now your treat is that you get to go on the road and face another tough opponent. They're going to have their fans there. Their fans are going to be excited. They're going to be fired up. So the challenge is going to be big for the Bulldogs to find a way to bounce back against really a good team down on the road. And so Bulldogs are going to make some preparation here. Because it's a Thursday night game, they're going to have another extra day or two to really prepare themselves and then get ready for the long trip.
Ferris State taking on Lenore-Ryan next week. The Bulldogs get the win here in Week 1, 36-20, the final score over Central Washington. For complete coverage of Ferris State football, log on to ferrisstatebulldogs.com.